Welcome to the Ambitious Coach Podcast. This is a place where driven, determined coaches learn how to get off the business growth struggle bus and learn how to build a wildly profitable online coaching business. I'm your host, Allison Henderson, corporate dropout to six-figure social media business coach. I'm going to show you how I've been able to create the business of my dreams organically, all through utilizing my social media platforms. So pull up a seat, take some notes, and get ready to see your life and bank account transform. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I have a very special guest. I have Julie Goetzinger. She is a psychic, intuitive guide, an astrocartographer, and she's going to tell you what all this means. I just met her and I'm already like, I'm so in love. So I can't wait for you guys to really hear what she has to say. She's also a best-selling author. She has a book called Fly to Free, Manifest the Life of Your Dreams. You guys are just going to love everything she has to say today. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I feel such a connection with you too. I'm like smiling the whole time I hear your voice. Like I just feel a lot of like happiness between us. So super excited.
Oh, yay. Well, if you don't mind, just I know I gave you a brief introduction, but tell us a little bit about your story and how you became a psychic and all the fun stuff, because I just feel like we talked really briefly at the beginning, but you have such a unique story.
Thank you. So I started actually as an elementary school teacher. And speaking of 11/11, we're filming this on 11/11. I noticed that every time I came in the building, it was so I was out in an outdoor classroom, and anytime I came inside, the clock always said 1:11 or 11:11. And I was like, what is this? Like, it's the weirdest thing. I'm like, is anybody else noticing this? And it was because I was getting ready for a big transition and change in my life. Didn't know it at the time, but I felt like I was stuck. I was in a marriage that I wasn't happy in at the time. I was just feeling like I had no options. I'd made the decision to be a teacher and I felt like I couldn't leave. I would let everybody down. And I kept seeing the clock and knowing that it meant something, but I didn't know what at the time. And then I later realized that it meant like alignment and like being in flow and doing something that puts you in that state of flow that you lose all sense of time. You just feel like bliss, you feel that feeling of bliss. And I was guided to photography next. I actually did end up leaving the school system and became a photography business owner. And I was like, oh, it's this. This is the feeling. Like you're supposed to feel like this, like alive and excited and, being outside in nature and people are happy and, bringing joy to people, like making people feel confident and beautiful. Like this is so much fun. And then during COVID, I suddenly couldn't do that because we couldn't do in-person work. And I was kind of scrambling. What do I do now? I don't want to go back to the school system. What am I going to do? I booked an intuitive reading and she said, you're a gifted psychic medium. You've done this many lifetimes. You have always been good at giving people advice, but it didn't come from you. It's coming from their guides. Like you have this higher wisdom and you need to start doing it professionally. And I started reading people voluntarily for no money in the beginning. And everybody was saying how accurate it was. And how did I know that about them? And I was like, well, I don't know. Like, I just know it, And then it evolved into astrocartography after I had an astrocartography reading, which is relocation astrology, if you don't know what that is. And it's a form of astrology where we look at the energy of location and see how that impacts us. And then I got into that world. I'm like, this is so fascinating, astrology and combining that with my intuition. It was just such a exciting it feels like an adventure. Like I do readings with people and I get to explore the world and I feel like we're traveling, even during that Zoom session together. And then I also get to look into intuitively what's going on that they need guidance around in their relationship or in their career or their purpose. And so I get to do all of that with clients all over the world. Like I do it over Zoom and it's a combination of all my gifts. And now I've moved away from photography and I just do it for fun. And now my business is astrocartography and intuitive readings.
Wow. And so, a lot has happened in the last 5 years for you, going from, 2020 hitting and everyone had to like kind of figure out what to do with their lives,
Yes.
So, okay. So now that, I guess, tell me the journey though of your like relocation. I know that's a big part of this, right? Is like you following that nudge of like, no, this is not where I'm supposed to be. So where were you living when you were kind of going through, I don't know if you got an actual divorce, but like going through your relationship changes and the job changes, like where were you living then?
I was living in Maryland. I did go through a divorce, and it also coincided with my spiritual gifts awakening because he was not comfortable with that. He was scared of it, and I started having visits in our house, and he would see it too. Like there was movement, there was definite spirit activity in the home,
Wow.
and it was really scary to him. And to me, I I kind of felt like Elsa from Frozen. Like I knew I had these gifts, but I didn't know how to control them yet, and I didn't know how to do it. And he was telling me to stop it and to turn it off, and I was like, well, I don't know how. And that did contribute to the end of our relationship because it felt like he was asking me to not be who I am, and it was like you wouldn't say to someone don't be Jewish when they're Jewish, so you can't say to someone don't be spiritual. To me, I see it as my religion. It's really a big part of who I am, and I can't turn it off, and I don't want to turn it off. I just want to hone it and strengthen those gifts. And so we did get a divorce, and we were in Maryland, and Maryland has been where my family's been from my whole life. And I found out in my astrocartography reading that it's on my Saturn line. And Saturn rules hard work. It rules challenges, delays, slowdowns, also discipline and getting things done. So there's not all bad. But I was feeling so stuck because I'd been living on Saturn for 20 years. And I was like, I got to get out of this energy. It feels like I'm in like mud. And so at my reading, I found that my more supportive lines were actually out west in California. And so I got out of, I asked my landlord, can I get out of my lease? At the time I was a single mom, renting a house. And I asked if I could get out of my lease. He said yes. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take off and I'm going to work from the road and I'm going to house sit. So I did this trusted house sitting service where I stayed for free in people's homes in exchange for watching their animals. And I love dogs. So it was like really fun. And I stayed in all these different places and I documented my journey. I started, journaling and making YouTube videos about how I felt in those places. And I saw that, yes, things did open up for me when I was in these more supportive places like California and Oregon. And so I did that for a couple, I guess 6 months. And then I met my now husband when I was in California. I didn't meet him then. I reconnected with him. And then he brought me back to Maryland because he's from Maryland. So now I'm back in Maryland again and feeling a desire to travel again. It's because it's like this is my home base, but this isn't where I can stay long term. And my soul knows that. Like I'm a traveler. I kind of feel like I'm a gypsy. And I have my loved ones here, my core loved ones, my children and my husband. But my traveling soul wants to travel as well. So I'm seeing you can have a home base and you can also travel and and be other places without feeling like you're stuck anywhere.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that way right now because I've been in Indiana. Like we lived in Chicago for a few years, then moved back here, I think like 7, almost 8 years ago. And I'm feeling that way too, where it's like, I just want to travel. And I know with like 2020, it was like really hard. And even after that, it was like, people had a lot of fear around everything. Yeah, I'm feeling it too, babe. Like it's in my soul.
Yes.
Like, yeah, we so connect with all of that. I love it so much.
Yeah.
So I know you wrote a book like about manifestation, and because I feel like I have to ask you because it's 11/11 today. Like,
Yes.
What's your take on it? Like, I really want to get deep into people manifesting their dream lives.
Yeah. So it's so interesting. When I was writing the book, the whole process took me 6 months and it was my first book. And I did hire coaches every step of the way that specialized in exactly that part. Like I hired a book writing coach. I hired somebody to do the cover. Like I hired a lot of people to help me. And I was hosting retreats at the time and bringing in a lot of money from retreats. Like my retreats were very successful. And so I was reinvesting that money from the retreats into the book, and I got the time to write a book because my retreats were so successful. So then I had the time and the money and the freedom to sit down, write the book, hire all these people to help me, do it to completion pretty quickly. And as I was writing the book, I was asking the universe to give me stories to write. I was saying like, wouldn't it be cool if this happened? And then that I would manifest that exact experience. And it was so much fun because I was like, okay, I'm living this book. It wasn't like I was writing it from something that had already happened. It was like I was writing it as it was happening. And it was so fun. And I wrote most of it in Colorado, which is on my Chiron line, which is the wounded healer. So it was writing from a place of, there was pain in my life because when I came out as a medium, my family and friends at the time were really scared and told me it was like weird and wrong. And I did lose friends over it. And my family and I disconnected for a little bit too. Now we're all fine and they just accept it's part of who I am. But at the time, it was really kind of unsettling for my closest loved ones. And so that was part of my story too, that it was people that weren't all supportive. In fact, most of the people in my life were not supportive at the time. And so I learned that, well, if you're on the spiritual journey, you're going to cycle through a lot of relationships and not everyone can come along. And that's part of it. And it's just a sign of evolution. If you quickly move through relationships, careers, experiences, like your soul wants to evolve a lot in this lifetime, and that's going to happen. So that's part of the story too.
I got asked like what my dream job was, and I just said I wanted to be a psychic. So I like and you know, it's funny because like the faces where people are like, "What?" Like I'm like, that's it. I just want to give psychic readings all day. I just love that so much. So I do feel like that there's obviously, you know, people are I don't know, they just have a weird stigma around people that do this job. So I do deeply feel it sucks losing friends or family members. I just don't really get it. But like, you have to follow that path. Like you have to follow what your soul is like really guiding you to do. And I love that you said earlier, you said, wouldn't it be cool if that's actually in one of my programs, I have my clients actually write that out. Like, I want you really thinking about what you want in this lifetime. So you putting down, wouldn't it be cool if, and then actually like putting what you want. Like, so, you know, kind of coming back to the 1111 and like you know, really just starting to manifest this life that you really wanted for yourself. Like right now, if somebody is, I don't want to say the word scared, but like, it's kind of like almost like be careful what you wish for, you know,
Yes,
like, some of us have big dreams. And like that could be scary. I kind of feel like I'm living my dream life right now though. Like I wake up, I have the slow mornings and I have a few client calls. It's like, you know, it's not stressful, you know, and I love that. And I asked myself a really good question yesterday of like, if someone just gave you $2 million, like, how would your life change? And I was like, I don't think mine would really change that much. Like, I might be able to donate more money or, you know, maybe buy a bigger house or whatever. But like, my life wouldn't change significantly. But for some people, like, they're afraid of the big change, like, because maybe that would result in a divorce or moving or something, you know, like really like crazy. So I don't know. How do you navigate that when you get asked, like, you know, how do I really manifest what I want? But like, it's scary.
I think if it doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. Like it should scare you a little bit because you haven't gone there before. So of course it's going to scare you because you don't know what's on the other side. So when we ask for just a little bit or just enough to get by, it's just enough to get by. And we're not really not stressed or stretched. But if we ask for a lot, a big vision, things are really going to shift and it's not going to be comfortable. Like, I know for me, I grew really quickly and people kind of looked at me because I was in a business mastermind and the group, my leader was a $1 million business owner. She was our teacher and the people in the group were very well off. Some of them came from money. Some of them were entrepreneurs, some of them speakers, authors, coaches. And they looked at me like I was kind of like, how is she doing that? Because I was brand new to business and it was really easy for me. Like business just came really easy. I grew really fast, but I also got to a place where I couldn't hold all of it. And I went through a deep betrayal and lost it all. Like it all went away. Like as quickly as it came, it was like, it was like a flood washed it away. And now I know it was because David Guillaume is somebody I follow. He talks about the Kabbalah. And he says, if you don't have a vessel to hold it in, it won't stay. Like you have to tend to the vessel. So we are the vessel. If you don't tend to the vessel and the thoughts you're thinking and you're taking care of your body and all of that, like giving yourself that self-love, it's not sustainable because it's a reflection of you and what you believe is possible. So a part of me must have believed that I didn't deserve it, or that I can't trust others. People steal from me. People want to take from me. I had all those beliefs because that happened. And then looking back, I'm like, wow, well, why did that happen for me? But I think it's because now I have a completely different outlook on money and risk and adventure. And I don't need money to adventure. Like, money makes it easier to adventure, but it's not a necessity. Like, I could tomorrow just go out to California. Like, I could do it and I would be just fine. If I had a lot of money, would it be easier? Yeah. But I have a different relationship with money now, and I have a different relationship with business. And I think all of these experiences teach you, and like my coach used to say, they're initiations. And it's rare that people just start out in business, make a ton, and then keep it. Something's going to happen. Like, things happen to grow us. And whatever we walk through, we're meant to walk through, I think, because we're supposed to help others. Like, take a hand of someone else behind you. But the whole thing has just made me so much more aware, humble, grateful, and also, like, really much more of a risk taker. I'm like, I'm good. Like, I've been through a lot, like, I've been through a lot of loss and divorce and grief. And now I feel kind of invincible. Like, I feel like I'm good, like, send me somewhere else and see how I do, like, I feel like I have that agreement with God now that wherever you have me is where I'm meant to be. And I also have now more of a connection with God rather than just saying universe, like God in particular. I feel that I trust so much more. And I'm like, well, if you want me here, this is where I am. If this is the relationship you want me in, here I am, because I feel like sometimes I'll try to run, but I keep coming back, or I keep being brought back because the lesson hasn't been learned. It's not complete. The contract's not complete. So now I'm more in surrender, and I'm like, okay, here I am. I'm in this role. I'm in this relationship. I'm in this house. What would you have me learn here? And then I get that, and then I move on to the next.
I think it just comes down to so much self-trust. You just now know that, like, your worst case scenario, even in your worst case scenario, you would be okay. Like,
yeah, I've already been in worst case scenario.
Yeah. And I think so many people are afraid to take the risks in business, or hire the coaches, or ask for what they really want in life and relationships, because of they just don't trust that they're going to get it, or that they're going to be okay. And sometimes you just have to go, you're going to be okay no matter what. And I know a lot of you probably listening to this, like, you guys are moms or really strong business or not business, strong women. You're going to figure it out. Like, you will figure it out. You always do. And I think so many times we're just so afraid to really ask for what we want, or go down the path of the things that bring us joy and all that, because of the trust issues that we have with ourselves.
Right. And I think some of the real what's the word? The real benefit comes from not being able to figure it out and giving up I have to figure it out. And getting to that place of surrender, that place of my hands are up. I don't know. Like, what would you have me do? And I think that's when turning to a higher power really comes in, because as long as we're trying to figure it out, we're only going to get so far. But when you're just like, I got nothing left, that's when the creator comes in and like everything changes in the best possible way.
How do people, I know how I would see it, but I know some of you, if you're not like woo woo, you might be like, how is she getting these answers? Or how is she receiving that? Like, so kind of go into your own spiritual way of, like, when you ask God for like the answers, or like, hey, what do I do next? Like, I'm, kind of putting my hands up. Like, how does that come through you?
So what God does for me is speaks in nature. Like, when I'm walking outside, animals are definitely very communicative. If an animal comes in your path and acts peculiar, it's a message. Like, if I had the other day, a deer come in the parking lot where I work, and he just stared at me for the longest time. I'm like, hey, I see you. I took his picture. Look up deer spirit, spiritual meaning of deer spirit. It means, like, come with compassion, like, have a gentle, or whatever situation I was in. And so when I'm in nature, that's the easiest way for me to connect. The other way, of course, is meditation. I like to do something called red light therapy now, which is to me a form of meditation. And I fall asleep, but it's like I'm gone for hours, and the whole thing is 20 minutes, but I always am knocked out. And I feel like I fly around because I probably do. I think it's a form of astro travel or something that happens where I leave my body during this 20 minutes and I come back down feeling so much more clear, so much more calm and centered. And I know it wasn't just because I took a nap. Like it was like, no, I went and I got some knowledge and I got sent back down with that knowledge. And so I would say, yeah, anything you can do to relax the mind and get out of your everyday routine and immerse yourself in nature in some kind of a setting where your body relaxes, your mind relaxes. That's when you can get the guidance and also following what feels good. Like if that sounds exciting, it's that. Like it really is that simple. Like that sounds exciting to write a book or to travel, or that is it. Like do that. And then your next step will be revealed. Like go towards that which excites you. Your next step will be revealed.
I went to a retreat, and this is probably 6 or 7 years ago. I was pregnant with my daughter, and I just remember like the whole theme of the day or the event, whatever, was all about just do what lights you up, do what brings you joy, and like pretty much like even like when it comes down to business strategy and everything like that, it's like, but like what would excite you? Like what would actually be fun for you? Because by the way, you're not going to want to do your strategy if it actually isn't something that you enjoy.
Right.
And I know I was just on a phone with or I was just on a call with somebody on a clarity call, and she was just saying she wasn't being consistent, and she was at home, and I'm like, well, maybe you need to get out of the house. Like maybe you just need to make it like a fun day where you go get a coffee or take yourself out to lunch, and like then you can like maybe sit and do some content or whatever. Like and she's like, and for her like face lit up. She's like, that's a great idea. Because every time I'm at home, I want to do my dishes, or, you do like start doing the household stuff. And it's like, get out of your environment a little bit.
Yes.
Like it doesn't always your work doesn't always have to be in your office at home. And even though this is like where I get a lot of my creative juices, like when I shut the door and I'm like, this is my space, my sacred space. But not everybody has that, So, yeah. And I love your perspective on that. Is like, sometimes it's like just feeling that pull of like, you got to go, you got to leave the house.
Yeah, and that's where astrocartography comes in, because there is something called local space where you can look on astro.com, astro.com, and for free, you can just put in your birth information and then look at your local space map, and it will show you what direction to go in your local area. So it will show you like what street to go on to be on your sun line. The sun is more visibility. If you want to go viral, if you want to sell something, you want more people to see you and hear you, go to the sun line. If you're writing, Mercury is really supportive for that. If you are wanting to meet some people that feel inspiring and feel fun, go to Venus. So you can go to these places that are local to you without having to like go to a different state or country. That your energy will shift, and you could go there and kind of play with it. And I've done this, just drive around my local area. I'll go within like an hour radius, and I'll just drive to my different lines, see how it feels, find a cool coffee shop or restaurant to sit outside, and the energy will feel different. And especially if you can sit outside, if it's nice out, like that's really good. But just to be in a different environment and expect good things to happen. Like I go to Venus, I expect to make a friend. I go to the sun, I expect to feel more confident. So that plays a part of it too. But yes, absolutely get out of your house. I've always had that same problem too. Like sometimes in my house, I just want to meditate or journal. Like I'm a Pisces rising and I'm very creative and imaginative. I could spend all day imagining, which is beautiful. And I could just never get anything done. In my dream world, like I would just be journaling all the time, like journaling and connecting with spirit. Like that to me sounds amazing, but I also need to exist in the world and interact and pay bills and all of that. So that's where Saturn does come into play sometimes, or Mars give you that passion and drive, so you can play around with astrocartography in your local area. And I'm actually going to share a link with you to give you a free cheat sheet to show you how to do this, like to look in your local area so you can start exploring with that.
Ooh, thank you. Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes. I think that's so. I can't wait to do mine and see what it looks like.
So fun.
Okay, so it is because it's 11/11 too. Like what's a good journal prompt? And I know that you said you love journaling. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what would be something if right now people are, after they're listening to this and like, I really want to make sure that I'm manifesting what I want.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that they should, like, what's the question they should be asking themselves?
So I like to say I'm so happy and grateful now that, and I like to write from that place of this is already manifested. I also like to speak into my phone, I am. And so I'll do I am affirmations and I smile when I say them. And I listen back to them, especially the days when I'm having a bad day or I feel like nothing's working. I'll listen to my affirmations and I hear myself in that high energy saying I am that which I am, and then feeling that energy, and it's like bringing me to that higher place. And from that higher place, that is where we're manifesting what we desire. We're manifesting all the time, but if you manifest from a high energy state and a place of gratitude, you're going to manifest things that you desire. If you manifest from a place of like complaining or this is hard, or then you're going to manifest things that are hard, so it really is what your attention is on. But yeah, as far as journaling goes, I also like to ask my spirit guides. I just say, dear spirit, what would you have me know? Or what am I meant to see that I'm not seeing? And then I'll do some automatic writing. I just take some deep breaths and I just start writing, and I trust that spirit's writing through me. And then I go back and reread it and ask deeper questions. What else would you have me know? What else? What else? What else? Until like nothing else comes out. And then I go back and reread whatever came out.
I do this pretty often where it's not actually me writing it, it's spirit coming through me. So it'll be like, you can tell when I stop like in my own journal prompt and it becomes them. Like they're starting to flow through. It's like kind of a messy writing because I'm writing so fast. But it's always just kind of like, girl, oh my God, enough is enough. Like it's so funny.
Yeah.
Like I love reading through that because you kind of go in like a trance because it's like it comes through, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, I have to go back through this. What were they actually trying to say to me? So if you guys have never experienced that before, just I don't know, give yourself that permission to just let your guides take over
Yeah.
when you are journaling, or even like when you're just like on a meditation, like just really just I don't know. I'm just somebody that. I don't want to say it's easy for me to connect because like there are times where it's really hard to shut my brain off, but like I always get the answer or at least something when I ask those sort of questions, So
yeah, that's also like what oracle cards are great for. Like that, like I'll just ask spirit, what would you have me know? What am I meant to know right now? What spirit animals with me at this time, and what would they have me know? And I just pull a card. That's how I start every single morning. And I say my oracle cards are my best friends because it's like an easy way to connect to the divine, and it's always spot on. Like it's like always what I need to hear. It's not always what I want to hear, but it's always what I need to hear. And something else my intuitive coach told me to do was to give a voice to the feelings of the different parts of my life. So my marriage, my career, my children, my business, like what feelings am I having around these areas of life, and giving voice to them through my journaling. So she told me to write about each of these categories every day, just to be like, okay, giving voice to these feelings. And this is where I am right now. And that's really helped me to just sort through all the changes that have happened in the last 5 years for me. And it's just given me that like self-check-in. This is where I am right now with all these areas of life.
I love that. I'm going to have to start doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know you have a book. Do you have anything in the future? Like, what do you have coming up?
I'm going to be doing astrocartography retreats. So I'm kind of combining
exciting.
like all my loves and, travel and astrocartography and teaching all in one. And I want to teach people how to read their charts, like how to have a deep dive on your own relationship house and your own career and, purpose, and really dive deep into all that. How to read astrocartography maps. And then if people want to add it to their business, I was going to teach I am teaching the process of how I read clients and what I do. And it's a very simple process. Astrology is complicated, but when you know the basics and you also combine it with intuition, it's really pretty simple. I think it can be simpler than people think. So I want to teach people that process. So I'm doing that virtually and in person. So that's what's coming up next is I'm doing these retreats virtually for the people who may not be able to travel right now or may not have it in their budget, and then in person for people who want to be in person with me learning the art of astrocartography.
How long is it? Like a weekend? Or I guess give me a better rundown of the retreat. I mean, I'm like really interested. I want to go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be 2 days. So I'm doing 2 days for the virtual ones. The first day is going to be a deep dive into your chart, into your birth chart and understanding your own chart. And then the second day, I'm going to teach you how to read the astrocartography map. And then I'm going to get into my process for how to read others' charts. And then we're going to do bonus like business Q&A, like how do you have an astrocartography business? How can you, use it as a niche if you want to add it to your business? All my guidance around business. And then the in-person one, there's going to be a day of team building as well. So of course I want to go to California. So I'm planning on California for the in-person one, in the spring. And that one, we're going to have a day of team building as well. So 2 days of school, 2 days of school, and then 1 day of team building for in-person, and then virtual is going to be 2 full days. And yeah, that's the format. That's how it's structured. And I love teaching. I'm a teacher at heart as well. I'm a Gemini Sun. So I'm like, why not teach that which I love, which makes you? So that's what's next.
So cool. I can talk to you forever. I just feel like you have such a great vibe. I love it. I love it so much. So thank you so much. I guess any last words of wisdom or anything else you want to share with the audience today?
I would say follow the fun, follow what feels good, and then watch what happens.
Yeah. I agree with her. I love that. I love it so much. Oh, thank you. Okay. Well, where can people find you or where can people book some time with you?
Yeah. JulieGCoaching.com is my website. So you can find the links to book readings with me there. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook, Coaching with Julie G. And yeah, and I'll share my link for the astrocartography cheat sheet as well. So people can download that if they'd like to look at their map.
Love it. Well, thank you so much. And I hope our paths cross again in the future. Keep me posted. I got to get on your email list or something so I can come to this retreat. It sounds like so much fun. So thank you so much for coming on my podcast. I would love that. And people, please go check her out on Instagram, go to her website, book some time with her. She's just, she really is a legit. Like I always people are so weird about psychics and mediums and all the things. Like she's really awesome. So you guys definitely go to her profile, check her out, and hopefully you fall in love with her like I did. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Ambitious Coach podcast today. A couple favors before you go. If you found this episode helpful, please take a screenshot and share it on Instagram. Most importantly, don't forget to tag me at Allison Henderson _coach. That's ALLISON Henderson _coach. And lastly, please take a minute to rate this episode and leave a raving review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you tune in to listen. Okay, ambition is great, but it's time to get to work. Take action and commit to being 1% better every day. Once again, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you again next week.